everyone, I'm Meredith and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so excited that you found me, and if you're returning, I'm so grateful you've decided to come back and watch more. I love all things luxury. I love luxury shoes, I love luxury handbags, I love luxury lifestyle and vlogging, and if they're things that appeal to you, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button down below and join me here. Today I am starting a tag video. So as a YouTuber, we will often do a Q&A session. Some YouTubers do them every month, other YouTubers do them periodically. I have done one myself. And oftentimes lots of questions come up that are repeats of things that we've answered before, or we've got new subscribers and they didn't watch the last one, so they don't know that those answers have been given before. Or it all tends to just be about the area that we're talking about. So in our case, it's generally luxury brands, like what are your favorite luxury brands, what are your favorite designers, and we never really find out a lot about the YouTuber themselves. So I wanted to take a questionnaire that was used in Inside the Actors Studio. And if you've seen that show, James Lipton hosted it. And at the end of every episode, he would ask the same questions, which came from a French talk show many years ago. And so I have taken those questions. I have taken out one of the questions, which is, what is your favorite curse word? Because if we all tell you that, we're all going to get banned on YouTube for swearing. And I have added to it as well to give it a very personal spin, so you can get to know the YouTubers who do this. Because I would like this to be a tag video, I'm going to start it off by doing my own one, and I am calling this Inside the YouTube Studio. So for those of you that don't know, when you have a YouTube studio, everything you do with creating content and uploading it to YouTube is done within your YouTube studio. So that's what it's called on YouTube for us content creators. So I thought that made sense. We'll call it Inside the YouTube Studio. I will answer these questions. I have already sent them out to a couple of YouTubers, and I will tag more down below. I will also put in the description box down below all the questions that I am asking, so that if any YouTubers that I don't tag are interested, they can certainly just hop on over and copy and paste them and answer them themselves. So while I have my Chanel bags up around me and everyone's like, oh, it's a Chanel unboxing, no, I'm just getting ready to do a Chanel unboxing. And sometimes I just get lazy, so it's easier to leave the backdrop up. So yeah, let's answer these questions. I came up with most of them. I took some of them from the Inside the Actors Studio questionnaire, and Dale from Dale's Addiction, who has agreed to do this questionnaire, also contributed to some of the questions. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you enjoy getting to know myself and any other YouTubers who decide to do this tag a little bit better, and maybe crawling inside their head for a little while, which in my case might be scary. So I'm going to be looking down because I do have the questions in front of me. So let's do this. So the first question is, which designers or design houses have made the greatest impact on your fashion choices and purchases? So for me, it will always come back to Marc Jacobs when he was working at Louis Vuitton. So that's how I got into luxury. His designs, his ideas are what drew me into Louis Vuitton, which was my first luxury love. And that's how I got myself into all this trouble with luxury. So I most certainly don't blame Marc Jacobs, but he certainly played a part in it. Funnily enough, now that he is out on his own at his own brand, the Marc Jacobs brand itself, I can certainly appreciate its versatility and practicality in what he designs, but I don't own any Marc Jacob pieces. His collaboration that is about to come out with Fendi, I am in love with, and I can't wait to get my hands on pieces from that, fingers crossed. But yes, it was interesting to me that I love him for other brands, but his brand itself is not one that I have been drawn to thus far. That doesn't mean I won't like it down the track. I can certainly appreciate its aesthetic and its beauty, but I just don't own any pieces from that. But Marc Jacobs for Louis Vuitton has always been a strong pull for me, and I still collect those vintage pieces now and have them restored. So yeah, thank you, Marc. When you dress for a day or an event, what do you think about, and is there an impression or message you're conveying? So my first thought is always for comfort, which is not very fashion-like because beauty is pain often, but I will always consider comfort first. I will also consider how appropriate or inappropriate it is for the situation that I'm going into. So most certainly there are things that I go to where I can get very dressed up and wear ready to wear and I don't look out of place, but I most certainly wouldn't wear those things to my office every day. We're pretty cash in my office. And I walk around in leggings and shirts and thongs most of the time. So yeah, it has to be appropriate for where I'm going, which is always a consideration, obviously. And I generally like things that are fairly sleek. So I don't gravitate towards things that are overly bulky or textured. That's not generally my aesthetic. I like things with a bit of a hard edge to them if I can. So maybe if I'm doing a leather legging, I'll put it with more of a floral or a billowy top to give it a softness to it. But I like the hard edge of the leather leggings. But yeah, so I will always gravitate towards comfort first, which is probably something I need to do less of, if anything. Appropriateness and sleekness, and then a bit of a hard edge also works for me. So that's generally what I'm thinking about when I'm getting ready for an event. My day-to-day life, I basically have a uniform that isn't a uniform. I'll wear the same things on repeat, just because it's easy and comfortable and appropriate for the environment I'm going to every day. So what turns you on creatively? So when I look at artistic endeavors, when I look at runway shows, when I look at anything in the creative space, I'm always drawn to innovation. So I love things that are new and different that we haven't seen before. If you are a regular watcher of my channel, you know I love the Fendi First bag. I own, I think, 26 or 27 of them now. And that was a brand new design by Kim Jones for Fendi. I had never seen anything like it before. As soon as it came out, I was really drawn to it for the fact that it was innovative and new, and yeah, so that certainly turns me on creatively. Innovation. Functionality. I think sometimes we lose functionality, especially in fashion, that things will be made that have no function whatsoever, and yes, they're cute and we're drawn to them, and I am most certainly someone who owns items like that have very little function and I still love them. But functionality for me is always something that turns me on creatively. If I can see a real function with it, then I love it generally. And that's probably because I'm a really practical, organized person. So I like functionality in things in general. And versatility. Versatility will also turn me on creatively. I like things that can be used in several ways, that have the ability for the wearer to take it and make it their own. It doesn't have to be worn the same way for everybody. They can change its look based on what they're wearing. And I think that's really important. So while I will often just look at something and go, oh, I like it, I can't put my finger on why. If I really stand back and look at my collection as a whole, a lot of these things, innovation, functionality, and versatility, run as a common theme throughout my entire collection. So I'm drawn to them without really thinking about it. But they're things that certainly I gravitate towards. What turns me off creatively? So I really hate over-the-top fashion with no function whatsoever. Like I won't buy it. And some of you are going, you own the duck bag by Louis Vuitton. Yes, I do. I do indeed have the duck. And I have the paint can and I have the Chrysler building, but they all serve a function. They do all actually hold things. And you can use them as a handbag. So yes, they are over the top, but they do actually have functionality to them. And they're wearable. Wearability is also important. So for me, if it serves no function and it's really not wearable, I kind of feel like it's there for no reason. And I understand artistically runways often have those pieces in them, which is important to the creative process that designer has gone through. So I can certainly appreciate it from that perspective, but they're certainly not things that I gravitate towards. So how do I celebrate big events or achievements in my life? So I generally don't necessarily link them to like an item necessarily. So we will first and foremost celebrate as a family. I will first and foremost celebrate with friends, the achievements or the big events in my life. For me, it's more about the people than the things. But I certainly have items that are tied to events. I have 2 handbags that I bought for my 40th birthday, and I'm tied to those. I have a bag specifically for my wedding that will always be tied to my wedding. So I do purchase items to celebrate big events like major milestones, but general achievements. So I didn't get anything for the birth of my children. There was no push presents. It was more about just family and friends, really. I don't do a lot of that. There'll be jewelry for my wedding, obviously, because I need wedding bands. But yeah, it's not something that every time there's a milestone or there is an event, I need to go and buy something that goes with that so I remember it specifically. I do have those pieces, but that's not something that I do regularly. Who or what inspires you in your everyday life? So my family inspire me. My mother is most certainly a massive influence on me. My father and my stepfather, so I have 3 parents. I believe strongly that my stepfather is as much a parent to me as my parents are, and I'm lucky that all my parents get along incredibly well and we have Christmas as a family, all of us. So they are most certainly inspiring to me that I am lucky enough to come from a divorced family, but I gained an additional parent. I didn't lose any parents. And step-parents have a rough ride. Like, they've got to roll into a family and make relationships with children that they haven't necessarily been there from birth for, and make space and love in their life for that child, but not overstep the bounds of they're not actually your parent. And my stepfather has done an amazing job of that, and my father has done an amazing job of accepting my stepfather in my life. So that whole dynamic that I have within my family is really inspirational to me, and I'm a massive advocate for divorce can be a positive experience for children if it's handled correctly by all parties involved, and I am a product of that. So yeah, that inspires me. My staff inspire me, the amazing women that I employ, predominantly women. I have very few men in my company. They all inspire me with the fact that they will show up and really give it their all every day in a business that they don't own, they don't have a vested interest in, but they care about it. They make it their own every day, and they work really hard for us, and they inspire me with how hard they're willing to work for us and how vested they are in my company. So they really inspire me. I have friends who inspire me daily. Dale from Dale's Addiction is one of those friends. She is a new friend, but she is someone that I adore, and she inspires me constantly with her kindness, with her openness, with her softness, and just how incredibly smart she is. So she inspires me. And I have lots of friends that I could name, but you won't know them. You can certainly go watch Dale's channel. I will link her down below, and know that you know, when she's on camera, she really is her, and that's how I feel about her. So yeah, I'm lucky to be inspired by lots of people in my life, and sometimes people I barely know inspire me just by the words that they speak. So be mindful of that. Sometimes you can be having a conversation with someone and you're really inspiring them and you don't even know that it was profound for them. What traits and attributes attract you to other people? So humor is always a big one for me. My partner got me through humor. He made me laugh a lot, and yeah, I've always been attracted to humor. I love to laugh. I'm also attracted to kindness. I think everybody should be kind. for the most part, you don't know what's going on in other people's lives. You don't know how hard their life has been up to the point you've met them. You don't know what internal conversations they're having with themselves. So a little bit of kindness can often go a really long way with someone. And I am most certainly drawn to people who are kind, and loyalty. I appreciate loyalty. If I am loyal to a fault, so I appreciate that in other people as well. I'm not big on high school stuff still going on while we're in our 40s. So yeah, loyalty is really important to me. What traits and attributes turn you off other people? So intolerance. I can't stand intolerance in people. I believe that, like I said, everybody has their own internal battles, their own internal voice in their head, and you don't know what that voice is saying to them at that time. So being completely intolerant of people without any exploration of what is going on with them is a real turn off to me. I don't like it. I don't think it takes a lot to give someone 5 minutes of your time to try and work out if they are just having a bad day. Or are you having a bad day and you're projecting that onto someone else? Excuse me. Blatant ignorance. I cannot stand people who are just blatantly ignorant. Like, do some exploration. It's not hard. I guess intolerance and blatant ignorance pretty much go together. And deflection without responsibility drives me insane. I have real respect for people who can take responsibility. If you make a mistake, own it. If you do something wrong, own it. Apologize. Try and find a way around it. Try and find a way to work out of it. I screwed up. Can you help me fix it? Or I screwed up and I think I have the solution. Just own who you are. I really can't stand the, oh, it's not my fault. Oh, such and such did this. You know, like it's not my problem. Like just own it. I think when you can own your life and all aspects of your life, the mistakes, the good, the bad, the ugly, it just makes you a better person. And that's not just with employees, because I do employ people and I value in my employees people who can come to me and go, I think I've made a mistake. Can you help me fix it? I don't know if I've done this right. I appreciate that in my staff, but I also appreciate in friends and just general acquaintances. Like, ring me, Meredith, I've screwed up. I've said the wrong thing. You asked me not to say this and I did. I apologize. Like, how do we move forward? Rather than it gets back to me and I'm like, but I asked you not to say that. Like, if you screw up, own it, apologize, and we move on. 5 adjectives that describe you. I am fierce. I am fierce in many things that I do. I am fiercely all the other things that I'm going to list about myself. But I will absolutely fight my own corner in any battle. I don't go looking for conflict. I'm not necessarily conflict driven, but when presented with conflict, I will fight my own corner all day and night. And if I feel like someone I love and care about is being treated badly, I am fiercely protective of them. So I will always put myself between someone I love and the person who's coming at them. And I have a tendency to get very cranky about things like that. And I will metaphorically pin you to a wall and burn the house down around you, because that's how I operate. So I am fierce in that respect. I do not go looking for the fight, but when presented with it, I have no issues fighting my own corner. I'm loyal. I am loyal to an absolute fault. If I care about you, if I've accepted you into my village, my very small friendship village, my very small village I care about, then I am fiercely loyal. I will put myself between you and anyone coming at you every single time. I will always back you. I will make sure I am there for you in every way possible. So I am fiercely loyal. I am fierce in many respects. I'm kind. I am kind. I like to take care of people. I'm a nurturer by nature. If you need something and I care about you, I will make sure you have it. I will check in on you. If you're having a bad day, I will work hard to try and build you back up. Yeah, so I am kind. I am resilient. I am absolutely resilient. I have had incredibly hard things happen to me in my life, but I can take on a lot. I can take on a lot of stress. I compartmentalize very well. I can show up at work and do what I've got to do, even if the walls are crumbling around me at home, and vice versa. I can be what I need to be given a situation. So I am really resilient in that way. And I am grateful for that resilience. And I'm a solutionist. I am very good at finding solutions to problems. So when presented with problems, I won't always have the answer straight away. I'm a thinker. I generally use the time in the car between my office and picking my children up. That's a good think time for me. The shower. I think well in the shower. I think a lot of people think well in the shower. And I will generally find a solution to a problem that is presented to me in time when I'm given the time to think about it. So I am a good solutionist in that way. What's my favorite word? Correct. Yes, I like being right, but I like the word in general. Correct. I don't say yes, I go correct. So I love the word correct. What's your least favorite word? Can't. It's like a red flag to a bull for me. You can't do that. Watch me. Watch me do it. I love being told that I can't do things. I love being underestimated because every atom in my being, every cell in my being says, pretty sure I can. So yeah, I can't stand the word can't because it is just a red flag to a bull for me. What sound or noise do you love? The sound the EFTPOS machine makes when your transaction's approved. I'm joking. It's a nice sound, but my children laughing. Of course, my children laughing is my favorite sound in the world. I love to hear them laugh, like real laughter, like tickling laughter, that unconscious, just laughing belly laugh. I love that. My favorite sound ever is the first cries of my children when they were born, because when you're giving birth, and I had C-sections for both my children, when you're giving birth, that's what you're waiting for when that first sound, and that's when you exhale for the first time. They're okay. So that's my favorite sounds ever. The first cries my children made when they were born, but on a day-to-day, listening to my children laugh is most certainly my favorite thing, or just hearing them talk to each other, like nicely, not screaming at each other and needing to be refereed. That happens more often, but when they're, chatting to each other about whatever they're chatting about, I love to listen to that too. What noise or sound do you hate? So I get very anxious in large group settings where there's a lot of talking. I can get very anxious in those situations. And I've recently come back from Dale's Bendy event in Brisbane. And I tried very hard to talk to people there and get into conversations, but I was really anxious and overwhelmed in that situation because people wanted to talk to me and because there was so much conversation happening around. I can get really overwhelmed in those situations. Funnily enough, you put me in a situation where I've got to stand up in front of a group of people and present on a topic that I have a lot of knowledge in. I'm fine. I can stand in front of an auditorium of a few thousand people and not have an issue with that when I'm talking with authority on something that I know a lot about, but ask me to then go into that crowd and have individual conversations with them on a personal level, and I get incredibly anxious. So yeah, I really hate too many people in a small space talking at once. It brings up a lot of anxiety here. I can feel it here for me. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? I really wanted to be a lawyer. I wasn't smart enough to be a lawyer. Well, I didn't apply myself enough to be a lawyer. But I really did want to be a lawyer. I remember going to my grandparents' house when I was little, and they would mind me, and my grandfather loved Perry Mason. We would sit and watch black and white Perry Mason episodes, and I really wanted to be a lawyer. I think I would probably be a good litigator if I had the knowledge, because like I said, I don't mind a fight if I'm presented with it. So I think I would actually be okay with that. But yeah, I didn't apply myself in school well enough to get the marks to go to university to be a lawyer, but I most certainly would have enjoyed being a lawyer. What profession would you not like to attempt? I couldn't be a nurse, and I couldn't be an aged care worker. I would be terrible. I have no issues with the actual, taking blood, dealing with the whatever issue is happening, but especially in an aged care setting, I'd want to take everyone home. I'd spend my time just stressed all the time about some of the situations that we're in. Some of them are very lonely. Some of them don't have family who visit. I couldn't do it. I would end up needing to take everybody home. I would carry it around with me all the time. It wouldn't be mentally healthy for me to work in those industries, because I am a nurturer by nature. So it would distress me that I couldn't fix all the problems that are there. What has been one of the most formative challenges you've overcome? So I took on leadership of my company at a moment's notice. I was adamant that I couldn't do it. I was adamant that I didn't want to do it, but it needed to be done, and it was sink or swim. And I either swam or I sunk and took everybody with me. So failure wasn't an option. So for me, that has been one of the most formative things that have happened in my life. I had to perform at a level that I didn't know I was capable of, but I learned a lot about myself in the process, and I am a better person for having gone through it. I'm certainly a more resilient person for having gone through it, but it was not easy. So yes, that was definitely the most formative challenge I've had. 5 people, dead or alive, that I would love to have dinner with. I would love to have dinner with Barack Obama. I find him incredibly interesting. I find him incredibly articulate. I think he was a great president, and I would love to pick his brain, crawl inside there. Gabrielle Chanel, Coco. I would love to have dinner with her and once again crawl inside her head and hear her history and her story straight from her. I think she is incredibly interesting. She obviously had beautiful designs, but yeah, these are all people I really want to get inside their head. Princess Margaret. I would have loved to have an honest conversation with Princess Margaret about her life and her experience in the royal family. I think she was interesting. So yeah, she would definitely be at my dinner table. And then Steve Martin and Martin Short. I love those men. I think they are hilarious. They are incredibly smart, witty, and funny. And at that table with Barack Obama, Chanel, Princess Margaret, and those 2 men, I would be in my element, and I think that they would have us rolling in the aisles. So yeah, that's my table of 5. I think it would be good fun. 2 celebrity hall passes. Jensen Ackles is most certainly on my list. I love Jensen Ackles. I remember Jensen Ackles from when he was on Days of Our Lives, and then he went to a TV show called Dark Angel, which had Jessica Alba headed up. He was in that for a while, and then he did Supernatural for 15 years, and he's just gone on to do a TV show called The Boys, I think. I haven't seen that one yet, but yeah, he's definitely my type. And of course, this is if they were single and I was single. Like, we're not going there, but he has a beautiful wife and children. But yes, I do very much appreciate his look, and he is funny, which also gets me. So yes, he is on my list. And then it's an Australian, and it's a little uncomfortable because I live in Sydney, Australia, and he's often in Sydney, Australia, and that would be incredibly uncomfortable. But Chris Hemsworth, I mean, come on, it's Chris Hemsworth. He's the quintessential Aussie bloke in a very nice looking package. So once again, he's funny. I'm always drawn to humor, but he's also very nice to look at. So Chris Hemsworth would be my other one. 3 celebrities you would love to have a drink at the pub with. So different to dinner. So dinner, I kind of see it as a chance to crawl inside their head and have a wander around and really get to know them. And celebrities you're going to drink with at the pub are the people you think are going to be great fun while you get drunk. Jennifer Lawrence, she's a hoot. I think her drunk at the pub would be so much fun. So she's on my list. Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters and Nirvana, I think he would be brilliant to have a drink at the pub with. He almost made my dinner party, but I think he'd be way more fun at the pub. And it still gives me a chance to chat to him, but I think he is, in this house, we refer to him as God, essentially. He's a musical genius. I definitely want to have a drink with him at the pub. And Keanu Reeves, I think Keanu Reeves would be great to have a drink at the pub with. I think he would be quietly entertaining. So yeah, he's definitely on my list of people to go drink at the pub with as well. Which song lyrics do you really connect to and why? And please include the title and artist. So there's lines from a song called Best of You by Foo Fighters. And the lines go, I was too weak to give in, too strong to lose. And they speak to me at many levels. So I have often been in situations where the smartest thing to do would have been to quit. But I haven't quit. And I am so I'm so built to meet the expectations I have been given that I can't possibly fail in those situations. So I am too weak to give in because I just can't give in, but I'm too strong to lose. So that those song lyrics definitely speak to me. They're some of my favorites. And then there's also a Taylor Swift song that she did with Bon Iver, I think, from a song called Exile. And she says in that, I'm not your problem anymore. Who am I offending now? And that also speaks to me because often I need to be a certain way in my job to get things done. And people can take that as me being difficult or bossy or not nice. But that's how I need to be in those situations. So, yeah, I kind of feel like, well, I'm not your problem anymore. Who else am I offending? Like, because I feel like I am often in situations where people are offended by me, but that's just the situation I'm in, and I have to be that way. So yeah, those song lyrics speak to me, and I love them. So they're mine. You're spending the next 12 months on a desert island and can only take one book, one movie, one TV series, and one album. What are you taking? I'm taking the dictionary. I know. My spelling is atrocious at the best of times. Thank you, autocorrect and predictive text. I very much appreciate you. But I feel like the dictionary helps me write my own stories. So if I'm bored, then I'll use it. And dictionaries also generally have under the word, they give you the meaning, and then they also give you the other words that mean the same thing. So a thesaurus. So it kind of mixes those in. So I would spend the 12 months expanding my spelling ability and my vocabulary. I think that would be really handy. I'm taking The Father of the Bride as the movie because Steve Martin Short. I love that movie. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's hilarious. It's old now, but I really do love Father of the Bride. The TV series I'm taking is The West Wing because I will watch that over and over and over and over again, and I never get sick of it. So I am more than happy to watch The West Wing for 12 months straight on a desert island. And the album I'm taking is Crossroads by Bon Jovi because I love that album. That is one of my favorite albums of all time. I love Bon Jovi as a band. I have most of Bon Jovi's back catalogue. Yeah, so that's one of my favorites that's coming with me. Put together a playlist for us by choosing the song you play when you need to get out of your own head. So your head's too busy and you just need to switch off. So there's a song called Gravity by a band called Super Jesus. It is not a religious song. They are not a religious band, but they are an Australian band. And I will put that on in my car really loudly, and that will get me out of my own head. That gives me a break from too many thoughts running around in my head. The song you play when you need to gear up for the day or even a workout. So if I need to gear myself up and get myself in a different headspace, I love, it's a song called I Love It by Hilltop Hoods, and it features Sia in it. Hilltop Hoods are also an Australian band. And yeah, that song gets me going. There's a line in that song that says hard work is good for the soul, and I have that on a plaque in my office. But yeah, if I've got to get geared up for the day, then I'll listen to I Love It by Hilltop Hoods. The song that gets you on the dance floor. I'm old, and this song is old, but it gets me out on the dance floor. So it's called Set It Off by Timmatic. Is Timmatic even still around? I don't know, but for whatever reason, I hear that song and I'm like, yeah, I want to get up and have a dance to that song. So I don't know. I don't know any new music. I'm sorry, I'm old now. A song you love to sing at the top of your lungs in your car. So Always by Bon Jovi. I have visions of myself in my teenage years standing in front of Rage, when is that still a thing? I don't know. In the mornings watching all the film clips, and I always loved the Always film clip, and I love to sing it at the top of my lungs. I cannot sing, by the way. I'm pretty sure I'm tone deaf, but yeah, I can't sing, but if I'm alone in the car, then I'm more than happy to put that on and sing at the top of my lungs. And the song that invokes a strong memory when you hear it. So for me, it's Time of Your Life by Green Day. So that song came out at the time that I was graduating high school. It was 1998, if anyone's interested, and that was the song that was played at our graduation. That's the song that invokes all memories of my final year at high school. I have, like, if I hear it on the radio, that's where I am again. I'm back in at the end of high school. So that song certainly has strong ties for me, as I would think most of the people who graduated in 1998. And then the last question: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? So if God exists, I would like God to greet me at the pearly gates with, "Good job, kid. That was impressive." So nice and simple. That's all I want, just to clap me in and let me go rest. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video and getting to know me a little better. I really hope lots of YouTubers will jump on this bandwagon. I think it gives you a really good insight into people, and it's a little bit of fun and something different from the standard Q&As that we generally do. I will link all the questions down below. I will tag a whole heap of people down below who I'm hoping will go out and do my Inside the YouTube Studio questionnaire. If you've liked today's video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I also invite you to come follow me over on Instagram. I put lots up in real time, lots around my collection and things that are coming up in videos that I'm doing. So come follow me over there. I hope wherever you are in the world today, you are having a fabulous day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.